you have hopes over ZZZ? Yes. You know how basically Wuthering Waves is like Genshin but better combat? Wuthering Waves better act on it fast, and they better actually release it way before ZZZ comes out. Because here's the thing, if all Wuthering Waves has is, you know, everybody was saying like, oh, good combat and everything, right? But if that's all Wuthering Wave has, then I'd rather play ZZZ at this point. Why would I want to do the whole stupid shenanigans of open world? Doing it on Genshin? See, here's the thing, right? You're gonna get people that will probably quit Genshin. You're not gonna get people that will play both. Or at the very least, not to the same level. Is ZZZ gonna be released before Wuthering Waves? I think Wuthering Waves will release before ZZZ. However, if Wuthering Waves does not release before ZZZ, it will be in actually a pretty dire situation. Actually, no. It needs to release way earlier than ZZZ. Because basically, it needs to get people into their system. You gotta hook people in. The reason why that is the case is because ZZZ's combat and Wuthering Waves combat, that's basically MiHoYo's answer to like, yo, I heard you're having issue with Genshin combat. But that's the thing, ZZZ that's their solution to not requiring people to have like a particular like open world things, while still embracing that like, okay, here's a better combat than Genshin. And again, that's very, very important for Wuthering Waves to release before ZZZ. There's no reason for Wuthering Waves to be open world. It serves no purpose as of now. Here's my takeaway from it, right? My overall experience with Wuthering Waves, it's Genshin but with better combat. The echoes are great because basically it's additional skill that you can apply to any other units, right? Like it's basically a free-for-all skill that you can apply. But my god, I don't want to do the whole exploration thing again because I already had Genshin for it. And that's the thing, right? If you're looking at it as a whole package, if you have played Genshin before, you're doing this Genshin exploration thing, and then now you have this Wuthering Waves thing. I'm like, yes, there's a nice stick of like running on walls, like, you know, people say parkour and everything like that. The overall experience in terms of exploration did not feel any different from Genshin to me. So here's the thing, right? If you have never played Genshin before, I think you should definitely just wait for Wuthering Waves, because the exploration and everything like that, and it feels gonna be the same, except a little bit except better. And the thing is, Wuthering Waves doesn't really need to invent new things. Just copy like a lot of the similarities of the things that Genshin had in open world, and then just like, you know what? It feels like they're really riding along the situation of, oh, it's just a really good combat system game. So like, if you have never played Genshin before, without a doubt, I would definitely say just wait for Wuthering Waves instead. If you're like, you know, if the characters of Genshin does not allure you in any shape or form, and then like, you know, you're just looking for gameplay, just go with Wuthering Waves. Now here's for Genshin though. I think the biggest strengths of Genshin are the characters. You know, story that one is kind of subjective. I mean, to be fair, my opinion on characters is also subjective. However, I do think that Genshin has really stronger, like, iconic characters. Right now, Wuthering Waves character doesn't stand out to me. And like when I look at Tower Fantasy and Wuthering Waves characters, they feel roughly kind of similar to me. That like, they don't really stand out in particular. But you look at Genshin, the characters in Genshin really do stand out. I don't think people play open world game for combat. Yeah, that's true. But then, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it does provide like a nice setting of like you enjoying the scenery, or at least like there's a open world hub that you can see where your character can roam around. And I think that's a nice feeling. And I think that's also part of the reason why I think Honkai Star Rail feels a lot more successful compared to other gacha games in terms of like turn-based, right? Other than the high quality thing, you have your character kind of just like roaming around. It might not seem like, oh, that's like a big deal, but it's another thing to kind of just like run around with your character in a non-combat form that you can just kind of like, you know, explore the world. And I feel like a lot of the gacha games that are menu based, because there's like open world games, and then there's like people categorize the other kind of gacha games that are menu based, right? And I think it does play a bit of some factor to it. And yeah, even then, here's the thing. Didn't Honkai Impact 3rd get a part 2 right now, which is like semi-open world? And lo and behold, you know, what's the biggest factor that Honkai Impact 3rd is really good at? Combat. At that point, just go all balls in on the Hoyo universe at this point. But yeah, again, it's just the Wuthering Waves cast right now, in my opinion, feels rather kind of weak. The combat feels nice, but like everything else for me, just like, oh, it's just another thing. And then it's just a different form of grinding, because like you know, you grind more about just like farming the bosses and mobs around so that you can get your optimal artifacts, quote unquote, and echoes basically. So Wuthering Waves devs already being cornered. They can't win at anything. Checkmate by Hoyo dev before even released. Here's the thing, right? People have been criticizing Genshin a lot for the combat. And then like Wuthering Waves come in. Yeah, look, we're Genshin but with better combat. And they're not even shying away from being a Genshin clone. Literally the same button for summoning characters, it's F3. To summon characters, you press F3 on Wuthering Waves. The battle pass and the prices, the cash shop prices are basically the same thing. They've just like copied a lot of Genshin and then just like, you know, just twist a little bit. It's like, let me copy your homework but change it a little bit. That was Wuthering Waves to me. And I feel like they lost their identity other than just like trying to just go for the combat. That's not a bad thing. And like I said, I'm telling people, if you'd rather play between Genshin or Wuthering Waves now and you've never played either, I would say just go for Wuthering Waves. And also, like, again, because I've played a lot of Tower Fantasy also and Genshin, that's why the open world of Wuthering Waves just felt so repetitive to me. Isn't they being competed by PGR themselves self-cannibalized? It's not really self-cannibalized if you think of if they're the same thing. It's fine. You know, that's what Genshin MiHoYo does to themselves too. They give really bad rewards in Genshin, but then Honkai Star Rail players get treated really well. But that's the thing. I think that if I have to choose right now what I would play, I would definitely play Wuthering Waves. But if you have played Genshin already, and maybe even Tower Fantasy, because I know like people that have played Genshin would have definitely tried Tower Fantasy also. They would have definitely been like, yeah, I've played this so many times already. I'm kind of sick of it. Like the combat feels nice, but then there's only so much on the combat that you can really get into before you kind of get bored into it. And I've also talked about this before. If I have to choose between Wuthering Waves and something else for combat, like anime weeb combat, I would actually tell you to just play Granblue Fantasy Relink. The game is full-fledged. Obviously, it's not free, right? It's $60, but the game is there, fully done. Every character is built so that it's a complete whole thing. To be fair, you can see right now, I'm like grinding on the background right now on Granblue Fantasy Relink, but that's because I just want to complete like more characters. But in terms of just like farming for one character, you would be done within like 80 hours, 100 hours. You would finish like one character, and you don't have to necessarily build more. And just because I want to build more other characters, that's why I'm kind of farming more and AFK wise. And yeah, you don't need to spend more. And right now, there's 2 additional new characters, and oh my god, hear me out, you don't have to pay more. Ain't that crazy? And you know what's crazy about it? If they do release more characters that's in the DLC form, other games do it, right? Character passes, like for those kind of like one-time games, I would be willing to pay more, actually. Like, if a DLC is typically like what, between $20, $40, I am so down to pay like a character bundle and it just feels good. Like I don't know what to tell you, but like playing Granblue Fantasy Relink changed my life. That's the Ice Asmon Gold title. Changed my life. It's not really, but to a certain degree, I think it definitely is a pleasant surprise for a lot of people. It's a game that feels like it should have been a gacha, but it chose not to be a gacha. It's like some Giga Chat devs were like, yo, I heard they could have made this gacha. Why they could have made this gacha? Freaking, the original game is a gacha. And honestly, they could have 100% made Granblue Fantasy Relink gacha, but they did not. And just because of that, I'm glad that they did not. GBF set some things that can be a gacha single player offline, and I love it. Yeah, I know, right? GBF is just GBF Relink is just an ad for the OG GBF. And honestly, dude, if more people played the OG GBF, I would, dude, please do. I still think, in my opinion, it's one of the best games. Like, you can play it on the browser, play it on phone, or like on, dude, you can even play it on your Samsung refrigerator. I've seen some people do that because it's a browser game. And like, they're so generous. Dude, on this anniversary, they're gonna give out like a bunch of pulls. Oh, it's anniversary. Oh boys, you guys are ready? They give between 10 pull to 200 pull every day for like a week or two. That's usually, and they do it 3 times a year. During their anniversary, during summer, and during Christmas. It's great. I don't play this game as often now. I just kind of log in. I'm quote unquote seasonal player. People that played original Granblue Fantasy, they know what the seasonal player is basically. I'm not very active anymore on it. However, I still think that it's one of the games that I really enjoyed the most. Obviously, this bias, I love grinding. Some people don't like the grind. There's a reason why it's called Granblue Fantasy. But the game doesn't have to be a grind. Lately, they've done a lot of like quality of life things to make the grind a little bit easier, especially for new players to catch up. Dude, you don't know how much like new players would have to grind now compared to how much I have to grind. Like, we had to grind for like a year, and new players nowadays probably just take like a month or two to just catch up to those people that grinded for like a year before. So like, it's a lot easier now to kind of catch up. But in any case, I like this game. I like the series. I don't play the game anymore because I'm playing Nikke, I'm playing all these other things. I want to play many more things. This one does eat up a lot of time. I think you could be a fan of the series still. Just like how I am on Arknights also. I don't play Arknights, but I still think that I am a fan of Arknights. I still think I'm a fan of FGO, even though I don't play it anymore. I just like the kind of like the series, the franchise as a whole. I buy merches for them whenever there's like release on them on like a character that I want or something like that. I think getting into Granblue Fantasy Relink is great. I know I went off tangent because we were literally just talking about Wuthering Waves, and then now we became just like Granblue Fantasy. But that's the thing. That's the thing, though, right? You don't have to play Wuthering Waves right now. However, and the only personally my take on this is, one, you're looking for an open world RPG and you just want better combat, then that's when I would do it. If you are not ready to give up Genshin, I don't think you're gonna last on playing Wuthering Waves. I don't think you're gonna play Wuthering Waves that long. That's my take on it. You're gonna play it, you're gonna feel like nice, but then like, if you're not ready to give up Genshin, you are not gonna be able to keep up on both. Because there's only so much, in my opinion, this is a me thing, right? There's only so much games that you can play, right? Says the guy who has literally like 4 games on my screen right now. But what I'm saying is, I can't like play Nikke, or I can't manual play Nikke and manual play Genshin at the same time, right? I'm glad that I can auto see. at least on the Honkai Star Rail, I can auto things. And this is also why Honkai Star Rail is very successful, because I can play it with like very minimal effort, and it's great. Like I don't have to spend a lot of time and effort on it. I can just auto things. Granblue Fantasy Relink, it's primarily an action game, and I think I love it as action game. But like right now, I am super strong. I built my AI teams really well that I can auto it now. That's my Granblue Fantasy Relink situation right now. So I'm kind of auto farming. But like once Lucilius raid comes in, I'm gonna be ready. I got gears ready. I'm like so ready. We're gonna pump out like the gang. We're gonna go for the boss. We're Gucci. But definitely my journey from like actively playing Granblue Fantasy Relink up until to this point, where until right now I'm just like auto farming, has been great. It's been phenomenal, and I can't wait for more boss. I want them to put out more content. Like, dude, it sucks that it's not as apparent that it's a live service game, but I hope they give like the same treatment that they are been doing on Granblue Fantasy Versus, where they are just kind of updating it constantly. If they're gonna put DLC on it, do so. I'm willing to pay. It doesn't have the scummy gacha situation that's like, oh, a new character, get ready to spend $100 for a chance to get it, and you might not even get it after spending $100. Oh god. Yeah, I'm really hopeful that GBF Relink gets updated constantly. And the only thing I can really do it, I want to spread the knowledge. This game is so great. I love this game. I love GBF Relink. Like how Dragalos really didn't want you to spend dollars. Oh yeah, it's even better than that, right? Yeah, Dragalos, I think that's also why Nintendo really kind of probably wanted to shut it down. They're not earning as much, right? Like obviously Cygames has to get some cut on it, and then Nintendo gets a cut on it, and then Google, Apple gets a cut on it. So it's like Nintendo is like, yo, we're not earning this much, right? At this point. Yeah, GBF Relink is the greatest. It's the Dragalos remake that a lot of people really wanted. They're just sad that it's not making as much money. And this time around, Cygames kind of has the sole property on this. No freaking Nintendo coming in. It's amazing. $63 million in China alone is insane for Genshin, even after the boycott drama. The thing is, the boycott is never gonna really affect the general public. I play Genshin. I never really cared about whatever the situation is. I love watching the drama of people talking about it, but at the same time, like, I never really cared that there was only 3 promos that was given on Genshin. I just enjoyed the game so much on Relink. And yeah, again, like for Wuthering Waves, I want to just come back to it. It's gonna be an uphill battle from them. Like you think, like right now, a lot of people are kind of like feeling about it right now, but I can tell you, like I got my gacha senses. I got my gacha sensor tingling. Okay, like this is my gacha sensor tingling. I think Wuthering Waves will definitely get like a kind of like core dedicated player base. That's like, and also especially the ones that are just like unhappy with Genshin, they're just gonna be there. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not really gonna kill Genshin. I hope it can attract more players. And the best thing I can say on it is like, if you're debating between playing Genshin or Wuthering Waves, I would say go play Wuthering Waves right now if you do really care about the characters. However, the characters, I would just take a closer look at the characters. And I'll also look at the quality, right? Genshin definitely has like a really insane track record already. So it's like, why would you risk it? Right now, Wuthering Waves, we're not even sure. But I want more players to do play Wuthering Waves. And the reason for that also is because it'll make Genshin better. I think that Wuthering Waves is gonna be the catalyst that will like at least try to make the Genshin better. Now here's the thing, when Wuthering Waves actually come out, you know what I will look at closely? The number of downloads in Genshin. if Genshin starts losing downloads, because right now every month Genshin gets about 2 million downloads per month, or plus 2 million plus downloads per month. If they ever drop down to less than 100 or 1 mil, then I will actually say that Wuthering Waves is doing its job, and I actually think that it has like a good outcome. But that's the thing, I don't think like people are gonna be able to keep up playing both. This is also why I think like Honkai Star Rail is designed the way it is, as easy as possible. Because imagine if you play Honkai Star Rail and Genshin and you actually have to manual a lot on Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, like they won't be able to keep up. However, you look at like, I look at, you know, these streamers also, right? And a lot of these other people too. A lot of them play Genshin and Honkai both. I'll at least give Wuthering Waves a try. Definitely. If there's anything that I want to clarify on, I would definitely say go try Wuthering Waves out when it does come out. I do think that the combat is better. I do think that the exploration quality of life is better. I was just saying that my the experience, if you have experienced already Genshin exploration and everything like that, feels the same, and the overarching kind of overall experience is gonna be roughly the same. The combat may be different, but again, if you're looking for combat, like I would look into ZZZ. I would look into even Honkai Impact Third. ZZZ might replace Honkai as a side game, which is funny competition in MiHoYo's house. That's the thing, right? MiHoYo keeps pumping out this quality games. That's why like nobody is like getting really close to MiHoYo in terms of just market, gacha mainstream market. It's just because of that. And I know it sounds like I'm a MiHoYo freaking stan. I guarantee you I don't even really care that much to their freaking games. Like I don't really like whale in Genshin anymore. I just kind of like one of the reasons is just I just like the characters in Genshin. I actually don't have any strong opinions on Honkai Star Rail. The only reason I'm playing Honkai Star Rail is because it's a very light game and I don't have to spend so much time on it. That is so easy. I'm not even up to date on Genshin story, actually. I'm still at Sumeru. I'm still working on Sumeru. Everybody's at Fontaine. I'm like a year behind. I'm still working on Sumeru. The first part of Sumeru even. So it's even worse. And like on Honkai, I haven't done the Penacony yet. MiHoYo should make a Nikki copy now. Yeah, dude. I welcome it. Like again, it's like the quality that MiHoYo puts is also just insane. That's why. Have you seen like the animation on ZZZ? There was this ZZZ animation budget. It's this one, right? You look at this. When animators get paid well. Zenless Zone 0, 2.3 mil.
We did it.
Andy, what you felt. That was the ethereals, right?
Yeah, officers! I thought that was gonna take my nose off! Those? Scissors? Who's there?
This makes Genshin look like a PowerPoint presentation. Like that's the thing, right? You just feel the quality on it. Like I was saying, if ZZZ's or is Wuthering Waves answer to Genshin or to MiHoYo is like their Genshin but with better combat, you know, MiHoYo is gonna respond with like, yeah, we got ZZZ. And I actually think that ZZZ was a lot more easier for the casuals to get into. You guys have seen like one of the videos where you could literally do the whole thing just with blindfolded. Obviously that's like a story, like, and so you can kind of just like do it. I'm pretty sure I can do it also in Wuthering Waves. And a lot of people have also mentioned like that, oh yeah, you know, it's gonna be actually difficult like in a higher game. You actually have to dodge and things. The problem with ZZZ is the same bullshit enemies mob that Honkai Impact 3rd have. I think a lot of these kind of action games need to have that. Like the mobs just kind of stand there and occasionally they're just gonna do this thing and then you just dodge it. Are you gonna play Wuthering Waves when it comes out? I will definitely play it. I just don't know how much long term I'm gonna play it. Hey all, Sky here. What you just heard about is just a random part of my streams where I talk about a lot of different things of the different games I've played or will play. A lot of people in my community do play these gacha games as well and were asking about my thoughts on ZZZ and Wuthering Waves as I have played both of their beta. And there's another beta coming in for ZZZ as well, so we'll see how about that. And there's also another thing that I didn't mention was just like Arknights Endfield, and that one I actually played also their alpha test, and I also have another more opinions about it that I will talk about in a different video. This talk was also before Azur Promilia was announced, which is honestly gonna be another game to watch out for as it has similar genre it's targeting. When all of these games come out, I'll definitely have something to talk about them. I really enjoy talking about these things. If you do like these games, be sure to come hang out at Twitch. I really do enjoy talking about these things, and if you do like talking about these games, come hang out at my Twitch channel. I do stream on there more often, and we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Not really just limited to games or gacha games, I also do chat about other games like JRPGs, MMOs, anime, and other things as well. You might see me on a single game category, but I guarantee you it's pretty much just a glorified just chatting stream anyway, so come hang out. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts about these games? ZZZ, Wuthering Waves, are you guys gonna try them out? Are you gonna see other people and see if it's the game for you? What are you playing right now? Are you looking for a different game to play? In any case, if you guys are interested, I do play a bunch of different things, so come hang out. That's about it for me, and I'll see you guys next time.